See, everybody was used to me wearing a hat, and then I decided to not wear a hat for a little bit. People started getting used to seeing me with hair. Now I'm putting the hat back on. Got to keep you guys on your toes. I've got a few different things I want to talk about today. A little bit of behind the scenes, how I'm filming some stuff for my Hasselblad X-Pan review. I'm going to shoot some B-roll and that kind of stuff. Thought it might be fun to kind of just show you guys a little bit behind the scenes. Also, I just thought I would hang out with you guys today. Everything is so crazy right now. Every day kind of runs into the next. It's hard to keep track of what day or date it is. It's April 3rd, and yeah, this is a very strange time. So I thought today I wanted to talk a little bit about a few things I have on my mind, specifically something I posted about on Instagram, and I asked you guys if you wanted to see me kind of just dive a little bit deeper, share my thoughts a little bit more candidly, and a lot of you guys asked for that, so that's what we're going to do today. But again, it's going to be sort of just a hangout vlog. I'll probably talk about a bunch of different things, so yeah, let's hang out today. But the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm going to title this video here, and that's just all about reflection. So if this is what you came to see the video for, here it is. You don't have to wait. I'm not going to clickbait you. But everything right now is obviously really bizarre. It's strange, uncertain, scary, stressful. This is just definitely the most bizarre time frame that I've ever lived through, and probably the same for a lot of you guys watching this video. And everything has really made me think of my dad every day more than I already do on a daily basis, and I think it's all just because of this slower pace that we're all kind of working with as things have just basically been shut down. My dad was never in a hurry anywhere he went. He was always taking his sweet time, probably because he always left to go places way earlier than he really needed to, so he was always way ahead of schedule, allowing him the luxury of just taking his sweet time no matter what he was doing. And I think a lot of people are starting to experience this really slower pace day to day, maybe for the first time, or maybe just for the first time in a long time. For me, with this YouTube channel, with my photography, shooting for clients, other businesses, with being a father of two, one of them special needs with 3 days of therapy each week, my wife, she's not a stay-at-home mom, she's an RN, we have a full plate at all times, like most people do. And at least for me, it seems like sometimes I'm just trying to keep up. I don't always have time to just kind of sit back and reflect and think, and that's really what I would encourage people to do right now. As tragic as this situation is, if your day-to-day has slowed down a lot and it's given you the time to really just sit back and reflect, I would strongly encourage you guys to take advantage of that. I try to do this as often as I can, but again, like I mentioned, sometimes it just gets pushed off. It's easy to see taking time just to sit back and think and reflect. It's easy to push that off as something that isn't essential. Whenever you're trying to basically figure out what matters most with your time each day, you're going to have to cut some things out. And for me, that's something that unfortunately gets pushed out, and I just think it's not that important. I need to just keep moving. I need to be able to keep up. But now, having so much more time just at home, not having to be anywhere, as most of you are probably in the same situation, it's given me a lot of time to really sit back and think about what I would normally be doing in those situations and how can I improve that. Being able to kind of reevaluate some of my priorities and figure out what really matters most to me now versus what mattered to me most maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. You know, things are always changing, and it's so easy to get stuck into habits without actually reassessing things and figuring out, okay, maybe it's time to switch gears, maybe I need to figure out a new routine. Now is kind of a good time to almost use that as a reset button and really figure out what direction you want to go, what your priorities are, and figure out what your new normal is. And it doesn't have to be like a drastic change or a new career path. It doesn't need to be this big, epiphany where this light bulb goes off and all of a sudden you're going to change careers completely. It doesn't have to be anything drastic like that. It can be just little simple things throughout your day. Maybe it's just giving yourself a little bit of time at the end of each day to just focus on a hobby. Nothing that contributes, financially, nothing you're making money off of, just something you do simply because you enjoy it. And that can be a new hobby, maybe something you've always wanted to do, learn how to play an instrument, learn a new skill, or maybe it's just something that you've already done and something that you already enjoy. I've personally been absolutely loving Animal Crossing New Horizons, and my wife also, she's been playing that as well, and playing together. That's just been a lot of fun for us. It's the little things like that to me, they mean a lot, and they really do add up, especially just for your mental health. Whatever it may be, anything that you do simply because you enjoy it, just let yourself do that. Let yourself be happy. So much of what's going on is completely out of our control, but we can control the little things, the little moments throughout each day, things that we can do that actually bring us some joy and help us both mentally and physically as a result of that. Taking that time simply to just sit back and reflect, think about where you are in your life, where you want to be, choices you've made, whether they've been good or bad, just really trying to reevaluate things. It can provide a lot of just mental clarity and focus. And it should be more of a priority. That kind of thing you should be able to do at least once a week. That should be like the bare minimum, just giving yourself some time to check in with yourself. But again, it's so easy to just push that off as not being an essential part of, our day or our week because work and responsibilities and family and, Tiger King on Netflix. Give yourself some time to really figure out how your new daily life moving forward can bring you some happiness. I think this whole pandemic, if it's taught us anything, one, it's how to wash your hands. Please wash your hands. But two, it's also that tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. We never know what tomorrow is going to look like. Things could be drastically different in just a day's time. At the very least, as much of life is out of our control and out of our hands, the little moments we can control, and those are the things that I think add up and really mean the most. So just give yourself that. I hope that made sense. I could probably talk about this all day. It'd be a lot easier if I could hear what you guys are saying. So I'll be curious to see what you guys say about this in the comments and how that kind of resonates with you. I hope it does. Yeah, good talk. Let's film some X-Pan stuff. And I just noticed I've got some lines there from the blinds. Cool. Talk about Tiger King. For me, filming B-roll is pretty straightforward. What I usually do is use this Canon 100mm macro. It's an EF lens adapted to my EOS R, and I usually use this just to try and get a lot of really good close-ups of the camera, shutter speed dials, film speed dials, anything like that film shooters are naturally going to be curious about. For the X-Pan review, I've been borrowing this from Phil Stebley from the Darkroom for a while now, and I'm going to be giving my kind of final impressions of the camera and sending it all back to Phil. So I've got all of the lenses gathered for it, and I want to get a good group shot of everything included, as well as all of the specifics for each lens, the attachments, everything that there is. And for stuff like this, I usually use manual focus because on the 100mm macro, I could just use the touchscreen on my EOS R and tap anywhere I want to focus, and it works really good, but almost too good because it focuses so fast that you don't really see any gradual motion from one object to another. It's just immediately locking on to focus on something else, and it just doesn't really look that pleasing. I have two Canon EOS R bodies. One I keep in this cage pretty much at all times unless we're shooting weddings, and then I'll take it out, but the other EOS R, which is what I'm using to record this, typically that one is what I use for any photos, whether I'm taking the camera home to shoot stuff with the family or if I'm going on a shoot. That's usually the one that I bring, whereas this one just kind of lives in this cage. It's a small rig cage. I have a few different pieces and parts attached to it with this little NATO rail with this top handle, as well as a side handle as well, which isn't on the camera right now. For a lot of stuff that I shoot, I really like filming handheld versus on a tripod or on a gimbal. Some shots it makes sense for a tripod, other shots it makes sense for a gimbal, but for most run and gun kind of stuff, I really just like filming handheld. And although the camera doesn't have in-body image stabilization, I actually find it works really well when the lenses are stabilized. Just using this top handle right here, I can kind of cradle the camera in my arm, and that's actually worked out really well for me. If you watch the video that I did shooting tintypes with Matt Seal, everything there was filmed handheld except for the talking head where he was sitting there kind of talking about the process. Everything else I filmed with this camera in this cage and the top handle. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it above. Definitely check that one out. It was a lot of fun, and it was fun for me to be able to shoot something like that rather than just talking to the camera. Another thing I'll do is get a good overhead shot of just holding the camera camera in my hands, just to kind of give it a little bit more scale. Sometimes it's hard to imagine the size of a camera if you just see pictures online of it, you know, on a shelf or on just a white backdrop. With film cameras, there are so many different sizes and varieties that all these cameras are shaped and sized very differently, so for me that just adds a lot. I'm really excited to get the X-Pan review up though. It's going to go up in a couple days on Wednesday, so I hope you guys enjoy that one, but it's a really interesting camera. I did a first impressions video last summer, early fall, I can't remember exactly, but since then I've shot it with the other two lenses, the 90mm and the 30mm, and that changes a lot for me, so yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one on Wednesday. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, what else can I talk to you guys about? What else would you maybe find interesting? I don't even know what this video is because it's so many different things all thrown into one, but I don't know, so many of my videos are specific to one particular topic, whether it be a camera review or comparing to lenses or comparing to film stocks or lighting. Everything is sort of like focused on one subject, and so I never really just speak candidly about a bunch of different things. There are always moments with gear or a technique or something. It'll be just like these little small things, and I'll think, I'd like to share that with everybody on the channel, but I never really have the right time to like squeeze that in, and not everything warrants like an entire video about that thing. So maybe I should start doing more videos like this where I just kind of share what's on my mind recently in regards to photography and maybe like little bits of gear and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't even made it to this part of the video. I have no idea. If you enjoy this kind of thing, let me know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, thinking about that whole hitting the reset button like I talked about earlier, I kind of would like to be able to share things a little bit more candidly like this on the channel, whether that means just vlogging or kind of like weekly or monthly wrap-ups. I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys think though. Let me know what you would recommend or what you like to see, or if you even enjoy this kind of stuff in the comments. This video could be a total flop. Time will tell. Also, I'm sure somebody is going to comment on this wall of HP5 on my desk. I have been staying stocked up on that. I've been shooting an entire project on HP5 and 35mm. It's going to become a zine. That zine is going to be up for pre-order on April 18th, and there will be all the details of that when the pre-order goes up, so I'm not going to say anything until then, but yeah, April 18th, new zine will be coming out. But I've been stocked up on HP5, and I actually just got like 30 more rolls in today. Ilford announced that they are stopping production of all of their film for the foreseeable future, just until the pandemic is kind of sorted out, in order to just better protect the health of their workers, which is an awesome decision on their part. So I went ahead and just stocked up. I have no idea if that's going to lead to any kind of shortage at all. Please do not treat Ilford film like it's toilet paper and just go hoard everything. If you're going to be shooting a lot of it, obviously stock up, but still, don't be the guy that buys, 200 rolls and then marks up the price on eBay. We don't like that person. Don't be that person. Also, my glorious MacBook screen that has gaffer tape on it now. That's the third time that this MacBook, this 2014 MacBook, that's the third time that the screen has been cracked. The first two times, Elliot stood on it at home. He was too little to understand what he was doing, and for whatever reason, it was really fun because he did it twice. And just the other night, this thing slid off the couch. I was working from home, and it slid off the couch and cracked. So now the bottom of the screen is like flashing a bunch, as well as the right-hand side of the screen. So I just threw some gaffer tape over top of it to keep it from being too distracting. So I just keep all of my windows on my MacBook screen just kind of resized to fit in that top left panel of the screen. I'll get it fixed eventually, but obviously I'm not going to be sending anything out right now. I have no idea what that would even look like, and we're just holding things together with gaffer tape, per usual. But yeah, I've been spending pretty much all of my time at home other than coming in here to the office to work. Occasionally I'll come in here to either edit a video or film a video like I'm doing right now, but pretty much all of my time has been spent at home with the family, and it's been really nice. Luckily, we've had some really good weather, and the majority of our time has just been in the backyard with the kids, and I've been absolutely loving that. My wife Molly, like I mentioned earlier, she's an RN, and she is on the front lines of this whole pandemic, like the rest of the healthcare world. If you have anybody in your life who is in the healthcare profession, no matter what position they're in, take time to thank them. Really appreciate everything that they're doing, not only while they're at work, but also outside of work as well. It's not easy for them to just clock out and disconnect from that world. They are seeing a lot of really heartbreaking things firsthand. They do year-round anyway, but with everything going on, right now is a really, really heavy time, especially for those who are working and literally giving their life for everybody else. So take some time to thank those people. Be patient, be courteous with them, especially when they're off the clock, because again, they can't really disconnect and clock out. You know, they have a lot of weight on them right now. So just be kind. I think that's all I have to say right now, so I'm going to pack my stuff up and head home, because going out in the backyard with the family right now, that sounds way better than sitting inside. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the end of this video here in the backyard with the family. I wasn't sure what I was going to film, but I wanted to film something, so this is definitely different from what I would normally film, especially this entire video, let alone just this backyard little montage, I guess. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, but I'm very thankful that I have a place like this where I can be outside and spend it with my family while everything is just so crazy in the world right now. So I hope you guys did at least enjoy and get some comfort out of this little video. But the sun is going down, and we are going to go ahead and probably just spend the rest of the evening sitting around the fire, and I am not mad about that. So yeah, hope you're all well, hope you're all safe, and thank you guys for watching. Again, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it, but that's it for today, so I'll see you guys next time.